Today's morning power up call. Got a lot to cover on this one. We're going to try and keep it quick, try and keep it short so you guys can get out there into the wild and making money. So, again, we do these. This isn't meant to be a giant distraction or the point of your whole day. This is meant to be a quick power up, a chance for you to get some energy, get some direction, get some excitement in your life, open your mind to a new perspective, and then turn around and use that to go out and make a ton of money in your day to day life. So, let's get started. So, something to think about, something I want you guys to all consider is the fact that you have a limited amount of time in your life. Now, many of you are young and you might not think of this normally, but time is very finite, right? There will come a day when you discover that like your time is gone. You'll look back at one day and you'll be like, wow, there went my 20s, right? They're gone, right? That's going to happen to you guys at some point. How you use your time now is going to determine what you achieve over the course of your life. It will take you a certain amount of time and energy to achieve the results that you want. Like that's one of our core values. You pay the price for the success that you want, right? And the quicker you can pay that price, the more efficiently you can pay that price, the faster you can get to that end result, which is ideally what we all want to do. That's what you want to do. That's what I want to do. We all want to move towards that dream result as quickly and efficiently as possible. Now, there's a lot of you guys who are inside the boot camp, and let's just say there's some of you who have not been moving with very much noticeable speed through those different modules. And I realized as I was looking through that this morning that some of that was due to the phrasing and the words that I used when I created it, right? And as a copywriter, I'm of course going to be hyper fixated on the actual words and the messaging, right? And one of the problems was I think I made a mistake when I named them days, right? Day 1, day 2, day 3 to go through the boot camp, because I think it put an artificial limit in your mind as to how fast you could go through the program. Now, I've done a few things, like there's obviously a time limit on a couple of the quizzes. I want you to take some time as you go through to practice it. But I realized that a lot of you guys were using that day thing, at least in your mind, as it became a limitation for you rather than something that helped you. So I changed the names. Woke up this morning, burst of inspiration, change the names. They're no longer days. You don't go through day 1, day 2, day 3. They're stages, right? You have stage 1, stage 2, all the way to stage 14, right? And the reason I did this is because I want you all to be unencumbered. I want the limitations in your mind. I want you to remove the limitations in your mind and move forward with as much speed as you possibly can through the boot camp. Now, I'm doing this and I'm going to assume that you're going to be mature about this, which is perhaps a big assumption for some of you. But I like to trust in you guys. I like to believe in your ability to do the right thing. I like to think this way about you guys. Some of you are going to be tempted to just blow through it and just take the quizzes and just get access and get into your Legion, right? Without actually consuming the material and performing the exercises, right? Know that if you do this, if you fail to watch the lessons, if you fail to do the practices, you are hurting yourself. You're hurting yourself. It's like at the gym, right? If you cheat on the rep, you don't do full form, you don't do correct form, or you don't do the reps you said you were going to do, then you're cheating yourself. You're not cheating anybody else. You're just hurting your own progress, right? In this case, not only are you cheating yourself, but you're cheating your unit, right? Because you're going to pop out the other end of the boot camp and get assigned to a Legion. And you're going to be all like, these guys are like pooling their brains together, working as hard as they can to defeat the other guys, right? Because it's a giant competition. If you go through the boot camp and you just blare through it without actually doing the reps, without actually doing the work, without actually watching the videos, you're going to show up and you're going to be a liability to your unit, right? You're going to be someone who shows up and asks some stupid question that was covered in stage 14 or stage 12. And everyone's going to realize that you're there not as someone who's there to help, but as someone who's like there to drag them down. And no one likes that guy. Think about all the team sports you've ever played. Think of all the times you've worked together and there's been somebody who showed up and he hasn't been prepared, right? Everybody they just roll their eyes, they groan, they ignore him. He gets treated poorly and everyone just ignores him and tries to move forward. And it's a huge liability for the entire team. You don't want to be that guy. You want to be the guy who shows up, who's done the work, who's prepared, who can show up to the Legion and be ready, willing, and eager. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to have everything all figured out, but you should have like the basics figured out because you've taken the time to watch the videos, do the reps, etc. Anyways, I get a little amped up about that because there's been times in my life where I've been in units where people have showed up with an utter lack of preparation, and it has been terribly frustrating when the stakes have been high, right? In the military, we called them Blue Falcons, right? Some of you who maybe served in the United States military or around, or you guys can Google the term. You guys can find out what Blue Falcon means. But you don't want to show up and be the Blue Falcon. You want to show up and be the guy who's squared away, who's prepared. And you do that by going through the boot camp as quickly and efficiently as possible, right? I want you guys to, once you start the process, I want you guys to be obsessed with finishing it, obsessed with doing the work. It should be what you squeeze in. All of your free time should be going through the boot camp as quickly and efficiently as possible, right? It shouldn't take you 14 days. It really shouldn't. It should happen in like a week or less, right? It is going to take some time. I'm going to be adding on each stage like an estimated amount of time that it should take you, sort of like the timer to try and beat. How long does it take you to watch the videos and perform the exercise? It may take you a little bit longer. It might take you a little less. You want to try and keep it as close to that or shorter than that time as possible, because I want you guys to move through efficiently, get to your Legion, because that's where the real work happens. I'm doing some cool things inside the Legions. I'm not going to tell you all of you guys here in public, but I'm going in behind the scenes and doing some pretty fun things with each of the Legions. So if you're not through with the boot camp, get serious about it. Start going through it. I'm going to be updating some of the content, removing some of the friction, but you guys should be obsessed with getting through it as quickly and efficiently as possible, right? You want to finish this so you can get onto the real work. So that's sort of the housekeeping. That's sort of the fun things that we've got in store for you guys over the next few days as we move forward with the boot camp and do some fun things with the boot camp. However, I did want to share an important lesson with you guys because it's been a while since I've talked about this. We've got a lot of new people, and frankly, a lot of you have forgotten this lesson. And this is actually the first thing I ever shared of any consequence on a morning power up when I first started these about a month ago now. I guess we're on day 31 or 31 of these videos. And this is the key this is the key belief. This is the key worldview. This is the key. It's a lot more, less of a key and more of a foundation. This is what everything else rests upon, is this idea, this belief. Once you get this one rock solid inside of your mind, everything else can stack on top of it. It gives you ultimate power over yourself and over your environment, and it allows you to create whatever you want. But you have to have this belief locked in first, because if not, you will be stuck forever. This is the cure-all. And I use this term deliberately. It is the cure-all for depression, anxiety, lack of motivation, etc. This is it. I'm about to share, of all the things that are closest to a silver bullet in this world, this is it. This is the closest thing to a silver bullet. It's not going to be easy for you to actually implement, but once you have this awareness, once you lock in this belief, this foundational belief, it's only a matter of time before all those things go away and you get what you want, if you choose to act on it. So in my very first power up call, I talked about this idea of who are you, right? And I'm gonna take you guys all through the exercise. If you were here for the last one, hang around for this one too. It's going to help you as you reaffirm this idea. It'll help that transformation sort of click faster in your brain. So the question is, who are you? And we're going to start by identifying some things that you are not, right? So are you your body? Are you your physical body, right? You're you can realize that you're not really your body, because whatever the you is can observe that body. Like you can kind of observe, you experience feelings. You're not your body. Are you your memories, right? Are your memories is that the core of you? Is that the actual true you? No, they're kind of like things. Like you can observe them, you can play with them, you can change them. They're not really you, right? Are you your emotions, your feelings? No. You can observe your emotions, you can see them rise up, you can see them, you can kind of observe them. If you can observe them, they can't be you, right? Like I can observe this San Pellegrino, I'm not my San Pellegrino, right? I can observe my emotions, I can observe my thoughts. I am not these things. I'm not my memories, I'm not my thoughts, I'm not my emotions. All of those things can be I'm not my body, I'm not any of that. I can effectively push all that into the not me. Like that, it's part of myself and it's important. But it's not really me, right? It's sort of a self. This me that I'm talking about is above and beyond that. When you really pay attention to it, you discover that there is a part of you, your true me, right? The I, that is the will. It directs, it controls, and it observes all of that, right? And you can direct this independent of your thoughts, feelings, emotions, memories, past trauma, whatever. All that stuff does not matter. It is not you. It is yourself. You are this higher version of this higher form of consciousness, this will, this power that directs and controls, right? Now, these two parts of you have to interact in tandem, but you really are your will, right? The part of you listening to this and observing this and synthesizing this, the part of you who then turns around and decides what you're going to do with your life, that is your will. That is the highest version of yourself. That is the true you. So you're like, okay, Andrew, you've talked about some kind of crazy, weird, deep psychology stuff. How does this apply to my daily life? How does this apply to helping me become everything I want to become? And how does this help me make a lot of money? Let me explain. When most people fail because something in their emotions or thoughts arise, they feel like they need to do this. They feel tired of this. They feel like they need to go check this or go watch some social media. They feel like they need that dopamine hit. This stuff arises and it takes over their actions, right? Because they think that's them. They think they're being true to themselves by acting on about how they feel. And right, feelings are important and emotions are important and they're part of your overall being. However, they aren't you, right? For me, whenever a feeling or a thought arises that I know is counterproductive or something that will weaken me or something that's trying to take me off my path towards the success that I've decided to go for, I can effectively label and say, well, that is not me. That emotion, that desire to stop my deep work session, that desire to go off and hang out on social media somewhere, that is not me, right? Oh, like I'm getting really tired of these push-ups. I'm like 10 reps away from my failure point, but man, it's getting hard. I kind of want to stop. That is not me. I am my will. And whenever I realize that thing that's arising, that's trying to deviate me from my path is not me, I can just delete it. I can say that's not me, and it loses all power. Access denied, right? And then I can push forward and do what I need to do because I've decided to do what I need to do, right? Independent of how I feel, right? You can act independent of how you feel and force yourself to do the right thing because you are not how you feel. You are not your thoughts. You are not your feelings. You are your will, right? Now, as a copywriter, you're going through this arduous process of downloading a massive amount of information into your memory banks and all that stuff. That side of you, that creative side, because as a copywriter, basically your will is telling that part of you to do all the work. That's basically what copywriting is. The will tells the person to, like that other self, yourself, to write the copy. You have this conversation back and forth, and that's what copywriting is. It's kind of weird, a little schizophrenic. But as you're going through this difficult process, that, let's say, yourself, your emotions, your thoughts, your feelings, it will try and rebel on some points. You'll feel it trying to rise up and that deviates you away, right? As you're pushing forward, as you organize your days, you're reaching out to clients, as it gets difficult, that self will try and fight you. But if you are your higher will and you realize this, you can then tell that lower self that it doesn't matter, and you can just force yourself to do what you need to do, and you can be successful. This is key. If you believe this, then you can take ultimate control over your actions, over your mindset, over how you interact with the world, how you interact with people, how you move through the whole process. You can win, but only if you adopt this belief, right? This is actually the key belief. This is one of the foundational beliefs of my entire life. I've got like 3, and that is one of them, right? That is a core belief. And it's been the foundation for me achieving everything wonderful in my life. So I want you all to keep that in mind. I want you all to use this principle, ponder on this, use this as you go through your day, use this as you go through your life, develop the ability to realize and observe your thoughts and feelings and deny them power when necessary. Direct that self with your will, as like you need to use that. There's a symbiotic relationship with yourself. Gosh, it sounds super woo-woo, but it's a symbiotic relationship. You work together, but realize that the will is in control and maintain control. Like there's a battle that's going on, and make sure the will always wins, right? Because that's how your entire self moves forward to something that's cool and exciting. So, man, this has been a long call. We've covered some great stuff. We talked about some good things. We've got some exciting things in the works. Use this principle, use these mindsets. These have been helpful to help me. I wish I could have had all of this downloaded in my brain when I was first starting out, like you guys are. We get some fun things. Let's take this time. Let's take this energy. Let's go out and let's use it to conquer the rest of our day, progress and develop ourselves into the best version of ourselves possible. Let's craft ourselves into something great. And let's use that to go out and make a lot of money and have a wonderful life. I will talk to you guys again tomorrow. Let's see if we make the cut.